Hey there, Thing here and Sarah, and guess who came to visit us? Why, it's Cousin It, and look how adorable he is. Look, just look, how freaking cute. And guess what? I am going to show you how to make your very own Cousin It right here in this video. Okay, so the best way to watch my video is to watch it all the way through, then grab your supplies and then work with me throughout the video, pressing pause for each stage. Because I know when I watch crochet videos, it's hard to keep up with the person crocheting. So I usually tell you to press pause here, come back through each step. And so watch the video once, see if you want to make him. And I mean, he's adorable. Why would you not want to make him? But once you decide, yes, definitely want one of my own, it's easy. I show you each step of the way through. So get your supply, watch the video, get your supplies, and just press pause periodically through each step of the way. I find that would be the best way to watch this video. All right, I'll let you get back to it. How to single crochet. And then know how to make the magic circle, which I posted a video on my channel on how to make the magic circle. So if you don't know how to do it, why don't you check my video out, and you're ready to make your own Cousin It. Okay, so I made him with dark brown yarn, but I thought today we're gonna go blonde, because I'm a blonde. Maybe Cousin It wanted to go blonde, or maybe he has another cousin who wanted to go blonde. So I got this blonde. It's like this blondish brown color. It's an off-brand Big Twist from Joann. I did make him with the same brand, just, you know, different color. Now I'm going with this one. It is a medium weight sport. It calls for a 5.5 hook. I used a 5.0 hook. So just something slightly smaller to make him a little bit tighter, because I am going to fill him with beans, so that way he has a little weight to him. A little, not top heavy, but bottom heavy. So let's add the beans, so to make sure the holes are nicely tight together. And took some stuffing for the top part. So you need beans, stuffing. You don't have to use the beans. I like the beans. You can do what you want, just stuffing's fine. And then all you need is really just two colors of yarn, the hair color and the black. I just made his body the same as the hair color, so that way he blends in, because, you know, he's mostly hair. And then, of course, glasses. I mean, you can see these little sunglasses. This protect his eyes from the sun, because the hair just doesn't do it right. And he's got a little hats. Once you got your yarn, your hook, your beans, your stuffing, all you really else you need is maybe a needle. You could do without the needle if you have a good crochet hook. You kind of use this instead of a needle. And then I like to use a needle threader. It just helps get the yarn through the needle. Makes it so much easier. And then, of course, scissors, something to cut the yarn with. That's it you need. So let's get started. Okay, so first up, I'm going to make a magic circle. Just like this. Put my hook through. Grab that yarn. And then pull another loop through it. You can check my other video out and see a close-up detail of how I make that. Best way is not to get the tail end tangly, and just kind of pull it. So you got this tiny little loop. And then I'm just going to make 6 single crochets right into my circle. So it goes 1, 2, you can press pause here and we'll meet you back. Okay, then just slip knot through the first single crochet stitch that you made. A slip stitch, not slip knot. So make a slip stitch in there. And then I forgot You also need stitch markers. If you don't have stitch markers, you could use a piece of yarn and then stick that in there, so that way you know each of your row. So I'm just going to put the stitch marker, I'm going to put it into the loop on the hook. You can put the stitch marker wherever you want, as long as you know that when you get to it, that's the end of your row, because I'm going to be working in the round here. And so I just want to know which one. If you want to put it in the first loop that you make, you could do that, just so you remember which one you did. So you know. Okay, so now I am going to go and do 2 single crochets into each of these 6 stitches, and that is called an increase. So just 2 into each one. So 2 into here and into the next one. Just go all the way around, and I do 2 into each one because there's 6. It makes 12. So you can press pause here if you're following along, and I'll get you back after I did the 12. Okay, so I got 12 stitches, and it should look just like this. I'm going to take a new stitch marker. You can just undo this one and put it on there. I'm going to do a new one to help you follow along. Okay, so this one is going to be my next stitch. That's why I put it on here. That comes the first stitch of the next row once I do it. So this row, I'm going to do 1, and then I'm going to do an increase. So 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, so 2 increases, and then 1, and then 2, and then all the way around, and I should have 18 stitches there. So just press pause if you're following along, and I'll meet you back at the end of the row. Okay, so now I have 18 stitches going all the way around. Add a new stitch marker here, and now I'm going to go with 2 single crochets into 2 separate holes, and then 2 into 1. So it's 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2 all the way around. So 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 2, and keep going. So just press pause, and I'll meet you back at the end of. Okay, and just put a stitch marker at the end of the row. Next row is going to be 3 single crochets in each one, and then double. And so you can just press pause here and just do 3, 1, 2, 3 in each one, and then 2. So pause. Okay, so after putting the stitch on here, I am on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So row 5. And this one I'm going to do 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 singles, then a double. So this is going to be the last increase one, slightly different on the next one. So you're kind of seeing the pattern going from 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to start to build up and start making it into a round shape from there. So let's do the 4 single crochets, then 1. Okay, so now I have 6 stitch markers, so I did 6 rows. The good thing about Cousin It is if he's a little misshapen, miss a row, anything like that, he's covered in hair. So you don't have to worry too much about making it perfect. We're just gonna give him lots of hair. He's pretty much all hair. So we're gonna move on to the next row. Next row is I'm just going to single crochet all the way around, okay? Very simple. So just press pause, and we're just going to single crochet all the way around. So I'll meet you back. Alright, so now I have 7 stitch markers on here. So I've done 7 rows, and now it's going to start looking like a bowl, because I just did the last row was just single crochets all the way around. And so the next 2 rows, so it's going to be a total of 3 rows of single crochet all the way around. That makes sense? So this row was single crochet all the way around. I'm going to do 2 more single crochets all the way around. And again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitch markers on here. So when I'm done doing the next 2 rows, I will have 9 stitch markers on here. So I just put the new stitch marker after I've done that last row. And that's how I have 7. So I'm going to do 2 more, going around, making 9. So let's press pause and I'll meet you back. Okay, you know what? It's going to be 1 more row of single crochet all the way around. So you're going to have 10 stitch markers. So just do 1 more, then press pause. Okay, so you should have 10 rows total done. And it should look like this. Okay, just like that. The first row was 6 around that magic circle, and then it was 1 increase, then 1 increase, and the other one, next row was 2 increase, 2 increase, 3 increase. The next row, 4 increase. 2, 3, 4, and then single, single, single until you get to 10. Make sense? If not, you can just go back and rewatch my video or yell at me in the comments saying didn't make sense. But if it did, and you're here following along, you are in the right place. Right place. All right. So this row, I'm going to do 4 single, then a decrease. Okay, so 4 single, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and so for a decrease, I just take my hook, put it in just like I'm doing a single crochet, just like that. So just have, and I have the 2 loops. So if you look at it. Okay, so 2 loops on my hook. Just put it in like I'm doing a single crochet, not too loose. And then instead of finishing the single crochet, I'm going to go into the next loop and grab the yarn again. So when I finish this baby off, I'm going to have 1 less loop to go through in the next round. And that's called a decrease. So for this, I'm going to do 4 single, 1 decrease. Okay, so 4 single, 1 decrease, going around. And so you could press pause here, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so back at the end of the row, I should have 11 done. All right, and so this one, you might guess it, I'm going to do 3, then a decrease. So 3 single, 1 decrease, all the way around. So just press pause here. All right, so you should have something looking like this. This little like bowl type shape. You should be on the right track with 11 stitch markers in there. All right. So next one is going to be 2, then a decrease, 2, then a decrease. So just press pause and meet me back. Okay, so we got 13 on here, and it should look like this. All right, and this is how it's looking. And so the next 2 rows is going to be single all the way around for the next 2. So just press pause here, and we'll meet you back at the next stage. So what do you think, cousin? Is it looking like you? Okay, I think he likes it. Of course, it's time for the beans. For the beans. All right. So I just take this, set it on the table just like this. Make sure I don't tip over. All right, so I'm going to take my beans, since I made a little hole there, and just spill them out. I just chose pinto beans. It's the biggest beans I could find on the shelf. So I just grabbed some pinto beans. stuff them in there just like that. All right. Okay, so the next row, I'm going to do 2 singles and then an increase. Okay, it's going to get a little heavy holding it up. So you might want to just work on the table there, just like this. Strong surface, and just do 2, then an increase, because we're going to make the body a little bit of a head. So it has this little kind of dip in, and then the head's going to come out. Okay, so just do 2, increase, and then so press pause, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so now the top part should start to look like a little bit of it's flaring out. And so the next one, I'm going to do 3 single, then an increase. All right, so just press pause and I'll meet you back. Yes, yeah, I do. I see that. Yeah, of course. Okay, so now I'm just going to do 2 more rows of just single crochet around, just single 2 more rows. So I have a total of, okay, so I have 17 on here. If I do 2 more, I will have 19. So just if we're keeping up, 17 now, we press pause, and then when we come back, we'll have 19. So this one is single all the way around, single all the way around, making us 19 rows. Okay, so here we are. I got 19 done so far. Put that on there. So there we go. Almost got the head coming in. So now I'm just going to do the decrease. And so I'm going to do 3 decrease, 3 decrease. So 1, 2, 3 decrease, 1, 2, 3 decrease. And so his head will start shaping inward. Okay, so after you press pause and came back, from the last row I just did was the 3, then the decrease. So from here, I'm going to start putting in my stuffing. Okay, so stuff it up till there. Then I'm going to do 2 decrease, 2 decrease. So 2 stitches, 1 decrease, 2 stitches, 1 decrease. So press pause here and come back. Yep, looking very good, very good. Okay, so I have 21 stitch markers, and I'm going to take them off, but leave the last one. So we'll leave this one, the top one on, and we'll just take all the rest of these off right now. Okay, so here we go. We just shape up. You got like this little peanut looking shape here. Right there, looking like that. All right, that's what you should have. You might want to put a little more stuffing in there. And so now we're going to do 1 single, then a decrease, 1 single decrease. Press pause. Okay, then. So before I do the final row, you might just want to finish up and get any more stuffing you want in there. Stuffing right in here. Some final stuffing. Stuff it as much as you want, as least as you want. Get that baby stuffed up. Maybe you should watch that. I'm just going to take that final stitch marker off. I'm just going to do a decrease all the way around. So each one do a decrease. I'm going to pull this up, cut it just like that, And then if you still have a little hole in the tippy top, I just take my hook, kind of go here, grab the yarn, and just kind of do some weaving with the hook. You could also put it on a needle and just weave them all the way through. Okay, and this tail, I just leave it long, so that way it could just be part of his hair, so I don't have to worry about stuffing it or weaving it. Just like one of the strands of hair. All right. So I just take my yarn. I'm just going to measure it out. It's about twice the length of his body. So boom and boom. So about this size I want it. You can also trim it later, so it's better to make it longer than you want it than shorter. So I'll just make a bunch. So I just make a bunch of yarn this size. So I just go this way, hold it up, just kind of like this. Keep going. You can make as much hair as you want to. And try not to make this too short or too long. It's easy to, also when the yarn comes longer than it was originally. I like to be a little frugal with my yarn so I could use it for other projects. So just keep making some yarn. And just cut the ends. Ooh la la, look at that hair. Now we got like a potato with a little ponytail here. Okay, so you can just put this yarn through a needle. I like to use a needle threader. So I just take this thing, put it right into there, put that there, and grab it through like that. So then I take his head and just kind of stick this in here, grab it, pull it through. And just make it half and tie a knot. Now it is easier if you just take your hook and just put it through some of the stitches here. Take that, take your yarn, grab it with the hook, and take it halfway, meet, tie a knot. So much easier using the hook than the needle, but if you want to use the needle, that's your choice. So I'm going to take this, just go all the way around him. Okay, so I have a whole lot more to go, but just to show you how it's looking so far. Good, huh? And if you want to just double layer it, you can just pull the hair back, just do another row over here and make it as thick as you want. But just a good idea of how he's looking. And it's going to take some time to work on him. So if you want to just take a break, come back tomorrow. Probably what I'm going to do here, but you can continuously play this video and see me tomorrow. I got more of him done, and then we're going to make the hat and the glasses. And so it's going to be in the same video. But I'm just going to work on him off camera. You can do the same. Just press pause, come back, and then we'll work on the hat and the sunglasses. Cousin It is looking pretty good, and I think Wednesday here, she thinks so too. So what do you think, Wednesday? Yeah, me too. Okay, so I just stopped at the round head part here. So I'm just going to cover up like this. If you want to keep going, you would just get more bushier. But I think this is pretty good for what I got. And then I also want to show you the top of the head is a little bald, but we are just going to add this little hat. right there just to cover that up. And also, so for this one, the dark brown, I just did the hair up for the top. So let's see here. So there we are. Just the hair right there on the top. And then I just pull it down, cover it up. I mean, his body is the same color as the hair. They kind of just blend together. So you could choose to go more fuller, less full. It's up to you, your choice, your little Cousin It character here. I did experiment with pulling apart the yarn here, but it does make it wavy. And it takes forever or takes a while to do. So I just kind of prefer him just with the yarn here. Okay. I also didn't go through every single stitch. So on the top row, I went through all the stitches to go around, and then I started just kind of skipping under each one. So yeah, just to make his head look full, every little stitch around, and then underneath you could see some bold spots. So I kind of just skipped a couple around. You see that just like that. Oh, there's kind of, I call it bald spots. It's not really bald spots, but that's the word I'm going to use. But it just looks just as full with him. All right, so let's make this hat. So I'm going to make my magic circle. On my fingers, hold it. Let's make that X there. Put the yarn under in the X. And then I just grab this yarn here. Up. And then I also have that other video where I show a little bit close up of how I made the magic ring, magic circle. And so I just make another little chain right there. All right, so I'm going to make 6 single crochets into my little loop here. Magic circle, magic ring, whatever you want to call it. I am going to make 6 of those. So 1, 2, a little string as I go, that tail end there, and then 3. Okay, so I got 6 in here. Pull that close, and I'm just gonna make a slip stitch in the last loop. So black yarn, it can be kind of hard to work with. Sometimes it helps if you have some kind of light to shine. Sometimes the light's super bright too. I also like to feel it with my fingers. So just get a really good close look in here, and then get that little last loop there. I make my slip stitch right there. There we go, little loop. All right. So I am going to do 2, I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do 2 single crochets into each of the loops. Since I did 6, it's going to be 12, and I kind of just feel it with my fingers and make sure I get 12 loops all the way around into each of these. So let's do 12, so 2 into this one, 2, the next one, all the way around. All right, so pause, meet back after you figured out how to get 12 into each one. Okay, so now I got the 12 in here. Okay, looking like this. Perfect. The good thing about the hat is it's small, so don't have to work with the black yarn too much. So we just did the 12 around. We're looking at how the little hat is on his head. Okay, let's see. I think I want to do just one more row around. And so with making a flat circle, the next row around is going to be 1 single, then a double. So that's 2 single crochets into the same stitch as an not double. It's an increase. So I'm doing 1 single stitch and then 2 singles which is an increase, not a double. Just single crochets through this whole project here. Okay, so Cousin It, only single crochets. Okay, so we're going to just press pause, and then once you follow me around, I'll meet you back when we got that. Okay, and also use your stitch marker so you know where you end. So I'm going to go around the one, and the double one is 18 stitches around. So once you get to here, you should have 18. All right, so now we got our little circle looking like this. Let's see, in comparison, the little hat on the head. Right there. Looks like a good size for his hat there. So now this next row is just gonna be a little tiny bit difficult because I'm going to go into the back loops. And so with my work facing me, it is just the loop behind. Okay, so first I'm going to find the loop. I kind of just feel it with my finger, and then I have the two strands that I normally go into. I'm just going to go into the back one, okay, and just make one stitch all the way around into the back loop. Okay, so I made a little something with this green yarn. Hopefully maybe it's easier to see here, but you see how there's those two loops there, and so normally in crochet you go through both of them. You just put your poke under and it's going through both of those. See how I went through both of them? I'm gonna do my single crochet there. So I want you to go in the back one, which is the one away from you. So the one closest to me is the front, and the one away from me, which is closest to you here on video, but to me it's farther from me, closer to you looking at this. But when you're doing it, it's the one that's farthest from you is the back one. So I just go through that back one. There, let's see if we get a close-up. Through over that one. And through that other one. Like that, how I skipped that one and went through that one. And that's how I'm going to do it on the black yarn. So maybe you might want to try with a different color and practice it first before. Okay, so now if you did it right, the hat should start coming down like a little bowl. Okay, so we got a little bowl shaped hat here. With my stitch marker for this one, I'm just taking it off and put it back on. If you want to use a different stitch marker for each row, you could do whatever you feel like or whatever makes you comfortable. You could also just put a stitch marker into each of the stitches around. That takes a while, but then you don't skip anything, and you make it the way as perfect as you want it to make it. What I am going to do is go around and crochet, single crochet again, all the way around one more time, and you could basically just keep building up the single crochets row after row, making the hat as big as you want it. I think I'm going to go, I went with 3 rows total, so I'd count this last one I did as 1, and then I'm going to do 2 more and then see how tall and see if that's the height I want it. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 more single crochets all the way around. So I'll meet you back after I've done that, okay? Okay, so here we are. Here is my hat. And I am actually making this hat a little bit taller than this one. So if you want just a little bit shorter, you can make it one row shorter if you want hat this size. Or if you want to make it just a little bit taller like I'm doing right here for this one, that's your choice. See, I have this guy has a little bit thicker hair than this one. So I think I'm going to have a little bit taller hat. And I'll make the brim just a little bit wider too. Okay, so now I'm moving on to the brim. And so for the brim, I'm going to go through the front loop. So it's the opposite of last time. Instead of the back loops, I'm going to go through the front loops. I'm just going to go all the way around, going through the front loops. So I'll meet you back after you went once around with the front loops. Okay, so now you got your hat looking like this. Okay, so you got a choice. You could stop here and just call the hat done, right? Just like that. You also could make the hat a little shorter if you put it like this or like this. I'm going to make the brim just a little bit wider. So for what I'm going to do there is I'm going to do single crochet, and then do an increase. So just all the way around. Don't forget to use your stitch marker so you don't lose your place. So make sure I put that in there. Then we're going to go do one single crochet in the next loop, one single crochet in the next loop, all the way around until I get to this stitch marker. Pause here. Okay, so now you should have a hat looking like this. And you can just roll that rim up in there, and then it gives a little bit more of a bowler look. Just like that. Don't have to see it too well. Fit on my head like that. Or well, fit on Cousin It's head, because that's his hat. There you are. That is looking good. So now we're going to go on to the glasses. The glasses will be a little bit easier than the hat, because we're just going to do the magic circle and another magic circle. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. First, I'm just going to, I basically just pull on the loop to this to make a tail. So make sure we make a little cut, a little tail on the hat, and then just go in and weave it in a little. I just use a crochet hook, grab the yarn, kind of pull it through a few. And then I'm just going to make sure it's tucked into the inside portion of the hat. Just in here. I'm going to use this little string just to tie it up on it. Okay, onto the glasses. So I'm going to make a magic ring with 6 single crochets. Same thing as before. Okay, you know what? I did 8 instead, because I thought maybe I make the glasses just a little bit bigger this time. So let's just see. Get it really tight since it's 8 in there. I'm going to make a slip stitch at the end. Just like that. So there is my circle. Let's see, compared to this one's with the 6, and this one's with the 8. So let's see. That. Look in there, see, just a little bit bigger. I do like the 8 a little bit better than the 6. You could do what you want. I'm going to make a really big tail here. Okay, so here's this circle, and I'm going to double it and make another circle. Alright, so now I got 2 of these circles here. Just like that. Okay, so you got 2 tails. You get the smaller and the longer one. So the smaller one kind of comes from the inside of the circle, and the longer one from the outside. So I'm going to take the shorter one. So I'm going to take my hook, or you could use a needle, just thread the needle. I just use the hook, kind of put it from the opposite end of this, as I'm going to put the hook in here. And I'm going to grab this. Just grab that and pull it, and do the same thing to the other one. Here it is. So here is this end. Put the hook on this end here, in there, and upside down. I want it in the side where this thing is. There. Hook, grab the thread, and pull it through on this. So I'm just going to go back in and grab it. Just like, okay, so I got these two pieces here. Figure out what my front side and my back side is. And so the front side is the one with more texture to it, and the back side is more flat and smooth. Probably can't see it on camera, but you see them up close. Just go figure out which side is which by looking close to them. Smoother side, back side, and rougher. So I'm going to take it from the back side, make sure I know which side is which. I'm going to take my hook in from the back side and just kind of shove it right where this part is. So the side on the opposite of this side here. I'm actually going to go and grab this, the short string on the other one. I'm just going to grab that and put it through that, just like that. So that connects these babies together, just like that. And do the same thing on this side. Put that through here. Grab the string, the yarn, and through. So now we got this going on here like this. Makes sense? If I pull closer, it gets them together. So I kind of just separate them. Right, so we got like these little glasses here. So I hold this part like that. There's my glasses. Okay. I'm going to make a little knot on this end. Just like that. So here are my glasses. Just kind of like separate them from there. There's the glasses. Kind of see how they look on Cousin It there. So with these strings, I could take them and just sew them into it here, or just weave them in and cut them. Okay, so for this one, I just took the glasses, the string here, and kind of just tied it under his hair and around just like this. You could choose to do it that way, or you could thread the yarn onto a needle and just stab them in the head from the sides. Okay. So I'm going to decide what part of him I like best for his front. Pretty much the same all the way around. So inside of my front side for him, wrap that around, and then I'm going to just stab him into the side of the head and come out the other end. Okay, so then we do the same thing with the other long tail end. Thread it and then jam it through the side of his head. Don't worry, he's a stuffy, he won't feel it. Just like that. Going to jam it through the head again, but make sure that I go around. Let's see if I can show you. around the yarn here. See how there's a stitch here? If I jam it through the same end, it's just gonna come through. So just make sure there is a stitch right there. So when I jam it, the loop will just go around that stitch and not take it with you. And then I'm going to kind of go through and try to find the same stitch area that I had the other piece of yarn from that side going out. See how I have this coming out with the needle there. So I have the yarn coming out of the same stitch. Pull that through. You don't want to go too tight, so that's going to make his glasses super tight. So if you went too tight accidentally, I just take the glasses, kind of pull them, and kind of pull the strings again. Get it that way, kind of adjust them, make them look good. See if I like where I've placed him. Just like that, so he's looking like that. So if we like, you know, we're gonna cover that so he'll look like this when he's done with the glasses, right? So now that we have the strings coming both out the same size, I'm gonna just tie them together in a knot. I could just cut it a little bit, leave still some tail. And then I'm just going to stuff that into his head. Easy way to do it is just take the hook, find somewhere else on the body. So I'm just take the hook, kind of do a little surgery just through here, pull it up through to where that knot is. So I got my hook through here and up through here. I'm going to take the knot, I'm just going to grab the knot and stuff it in his body. Just gonna stuff that in there. Go through here, just a little stuff. I also just trim it off so I can't stuff it all the way. Just get a little cut and make sure it's all the way in him. And there we go. And then for these pieces, so those pieces, I take my hook, put it up through his body and then out by the glasses. I'm just gonna grab both of those with the hook, stuff them in. I just pull it out here and then tie the knot again. So get them both out. There you go. He's a little, I don't know, nose hairs or something poking out. I'm going to tie it and then stuff. Okay, once done with that, you can just fix up his hair. You make sure these strands are on the glasses, just like that. Fix him all the way you want him. There he is. Now I can also add the hat. And you kind of just take this string and we could just sew the hat on top of his head. So just thread the string, I kind of just like stab him in the head. I did make that tail end to the hat a little too small, so I could just go back in with more black yarn and fix him up. A piece of my own hair stuck in him. Pull that out, but here he is. The hat, just fluff that hat a little better. And I got two of them, and so you just let me know in the comments which one you liked better. A little lighter brown or a darker brown. Both super cute, super adorable. Yeah. All right, you could find me on Instagram, tag me on Instagram, show me your cousin its, because I would love to see them. On Instagram, on TikTok at Sarah Joyce 101, same as my YouTube name. And subscribe because I will be making, subscribe because I got lots of projects in the works and free patterns for you. Thanks.